Hi, my name is Tom Landvatter. I'm a professor in the Department of Greek, Latin, and Ancient Mediterranean Studies, also known as GLAM. I just want to start this off by introducing what exactly the ancient Mediterranean is. The ancient Mediterranean and the focus of our department stretches geographically all the way from Spain to the Levant, so Syria to Syria, and if you really think about it, even all the way from Britain down to Egypt, if we think about the Roman Empire. So it's a vast geographic territory that also includes many different cultures, languages, and traditions, ranging temporally from, say, around, depends how you call it, 1200 BCE or so, all the way up to the early medieval period, 600 or 700 CE. So the focus of our department is this enormous, varied, geographically, very geographically, culturally diverse, and temporally expansive region. And we approach it from all its different aspects, from literature, language, history, and archaeology. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Ellen.
Hi, everyone. So I want to talk a little bit about our majors and minors. So within the Department of GLAM, we have two majors. So both majors involve the study of Greek and Latin language, but one of the majors focuses more on the study of Greek and Latin literature, while the other major focuses on the study of the history and archaeology of the ancient Mediterranean world. We also offer three minors. Students can minor in Greek, they can minor in Latin, and they can minor in Greek and Latin. Okay, so now I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Nigel to talk about the range of classes that we teach.
Hi. So yes, to support these different majors and minors, and also just to provide interesting and productive classes for students who aren't majoring or minoring but are taking elective classes with us. We offer a strong and a wide range of classes. There are 5 of us in the department. Between us, we've got expertise in history, archaeology, literature, and language. And so we're able to offer classes across that range. On the language side, every year we offer 2 years of Latin instruction and 2 years of Greek instruction. The first year covers all the elements of the relevant language, and the second one deepens your knowledge and increases your facility and widens your vocabulary. For the history classes, Ellen.
Okay, so on the history side of things, we teach, for example, surveys of Roman history, surveys of Greek history, but we also have theme courses that can cover things like women in the ancient world, courses that look at perhaps slavery in the ancient world, the development of democratic thinking, or, for example, looking at the construction of otherness, the quote unquote barbarian in the ancient world. And so that, again, we have a pretty good range. And we also offer a range of archaeology classes. And for this, I'm going to pass it on to Tom.
Yeah, so in the archaeology classes we offer, we examine the cultures of the ancient Mediterranean through their material culture, through the material remains that are left behind. And so these courses generally include things like a survey of Greek archaeology, though that's really more of a survey of the Eastern Mediterranean in the Iron Age, and looking at cultural contact at that time. Also offer surveys on Roman archaeology, but through the view of the perspective of the archaeology of imperialism. So examining the Roman Empire as an example of an ancient empire and what material traces empires leave behind. We also offer sometimes some more special topics courses, such as the archaeology of death and burial. So looking at a particular kind of archaeological evidence in the ancient Mediterranean from a more in-depth perspective. And so I'll hand it back over to Nigel for literature classes.
Thanks, Tom. So on the literature side, we offer 2 Latin literature classes and 2 Greek literature classes every year that require advanced facility in Latin and Greek. And we also offer occasional classes on literature in translation. These classes cover a wide range of poetry in Greek and Latin, poetry and prose, epic, tragedy, history, lyric, elegy, novel, epigram, whatever it might be. And each of these classes really seeks to engage with the political and social and aesthetic issues that make these works interesting and that are entwined with these works. So just to give a couple of examples, when we read something like Ovid's Metamorphoses, we're going to study the foundational role that the body plays in Romanness. Or when we read the odes written for Olympic victors, we might study the way that athletic victory was transformed into a sign of political leadership and personal virtue, or the way that athletics was used to claim a certain kind of Greekness, particularly for the Greek cities that lived perhaps on the edges of the Greek world, or at least the parts of the Greek world that were seen as the edges by some of the others, places like Libya and Sicily. In addition to all these classes, the language, the history, the archaeology, and the literature classes, which we teach within the department, we're really lucky to have a number of departments here at Reed that offer classes that deal directly with classical materials, actually. So whether it's Greek vases in the art history department, Greek theatre in the theatre department, early Christian texts in the religion department, or Plato and Aristotle in the philosophy department. Students are really able to kind of join their different disciplinary studies together. You can actually make a joint ad hoc major out of these, but we also have a standing classics religion major because that's quite a common link up that students enjoy. So in general, I would just emphasize again the range of topics that we study and the range of disciplines that we cover. Majors, of course, as all the majors do at Reed, get to write a thesis, a senior thesis, and that's really a terrific opportunity. And when you come to your thesis, when students come to their theses, we see a wonderful range of topics covered. You can see lists of these theses on the website, but some of them are author-based, Homer, Thucydides, or much more obscure folks from the Byzantine period, say, or late antiquity. Studies of events or moments in history or political formation, studies of material objects, studies of science and medicine, philosophy, and much more frequent now, studies of the reception or translation or preservation of ancient materials. The range is really pretty endless, and we really want students to come up with topics that interest them and use the thesis as a chance to pursue those particular interests. I think the next thing I'm going to talk about is study abroad and digging. So I'll pass that to Tom.
Yeah, so one thing that the GLAM department really excels at is getting students abroad for a portion of their time at Reed. So generally in their junior year, students in the GLAM department will study abroad for a semester if they so choose. Usually at one of two programs, either at college year in Athens, which is in Athens, as you might expect, also known as CYA. Where you are able to take classes not just on ancient material, but you can do some modern things as well, but you can also tailor your experience. So you're doing things like Greek archaeology or Greek history on site, where you are actually traveling and visiting monuments, going on field trips and spending time actually interacting with ancient material culture, as well as doing things like taking courses on ancient inscriptions, where if your Greek is good enough, you can go and learn how to read inscriptions right off the rocks, right? So off the stones. So it's really quite an amazing experience. The other program that students often go to is called we call the Centro, the Intercollegiate Center for Classical Studies in Rome, where you spend a semester in Rome, where most of your time is spent in a class called the Ancient City, where you are learning about the ancient city of Rome on site every day, traveling extensively and really getting a hands-on look at the ancient city of Rome from all its different aspects. So these are the two main programs students spend a semester abroad with. There are others that some students go to, such as go to programs in Ireland or Oxford, but we can also work with you to figure out which place is best for you, where you're most interested in going for your first study abroad. Now, during the summer, a number of students also have spent time going on archaeological excavations. There are a number of ways of doing this. I run an excavation, direct an excavation on the island of Cyprus in the Eastern Mediterranean, focused on a early Hellenistic period fortification site, so dating right around the time of Alexander the Great and right after his death. And I have brought Reed students there for about a 4-week season of excavation, where students learn how to excavate, how to record data hands-on, and actually get to work with material culture and learn how to engage in data collection, and actually the generation of new data about the ancient world. Other students, depending on where you're interested in, they may not want to go to Cyprus. A lot of our students have actually gone to Italy, excavated there at the site of Gabii outside of Rome, at an excavation run by another institution, by the University of Michigan and University of Missouri. So I can also work with you to figure out where you would like to, if you would like to go excavate, where you want to go. There's lots of options what you can do during the summer when it comes to excavating. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ellen to talk a little bit more about student-faculty collaboration.
Okay, I'm going to talk about working with professors, but also funding. So, Tom talked about some wonderful opportunities for students to go in the summer to excavate, either if you're swimming with him off the coast of Cyprus or you're in Rome. I'll start off by saying that our department is very fortunate in having several funding sources that have allowed us in recent years and to continue in the future to help students defray costs connected, for example, with language studies, students who want to go in the summer and get a jump on doing Latin or Greek, or students who need to defray costs connected with research internships, or to defray costs connected with travel, right? Travel that is entailed by participating in archaeological excavation. So we're very fortunate in having two sources there. Now, in terms of working with faculty, our students, I would say, very often have the opportunity to work with faculty in a sort of a pretty wide range of activities. So sometimes you'll have students who may just simply be doing searches for faculty. They may be reading about scholarship, but they may actually be doing language searches for faculty. But we also have students who, and we've been very successful in our department in winning grants to do collaborative research with students. So the range is pretty incredible. We can go everywhere from a student, for example, helping to write part of an article or a whole article, a student helping to just do research for a piece of scholarship, or a student, for example, creating, let's say, graphs or even bibliographies for articles. So there's a lot of scope for working with faculty in the summers at Reed. And what I'm going to do now is pass it back to Nigel to talk about life after Reed.
Thanks. So, like all the majors at Reed, our majors come out with a very strong training in critical thinking and research skills, in presentational skills, and the ability to communicate themselves in writing and speech. Certainly, some of our students go on to graduate school in the field, but most of our students use their skills elsewhere. Our alumni have gone into law is a favorite, communications, accounting, marketing, library science, creative arts, educational administration, and other areas of teaching too. Quite a lot of students go into high school teaching, whether in Latin or literature or social studies. We have a really great and active careers office, which we call the Center for Life Beyond Reed. And that, will really work with you to help you find your vocation, your sense of what you want to do with your life, and get started.
Okay, and I think we're going to conclude by talking about departmental culture. And I think I speak for everyone in the department when I say that GLAM really has an incredibly nice culture and a really sort of warm, close community. And why is that? Well, there are lots of reasons. One, we have, which I think is really nice, we have a lounge. And you may wonder, lounge is such an odd word, but we have a lounge. We have a room on the second floor of the ETC where most of our offices are, where the students hang out. They work in there. There are like their books in there. But what's nice about it is it means that you can be hanging out with students who are not necessarily in your classes, but are also in the major. So what's nice about the major is the students all across all 4 years get to know each other well. That's also where we keep lots of theses, but our students also tend to come up through the major together. They tend to take the classes together and get to know each other really well. We also, every semester, have a number of symposia. So we have outside speakers come in. We have opportunities for example, for faculty members doing research with a student to present that research. And every spring, our seniors present their work for the whole department. And those are absolutely wonderful events. So Tom, Nigel, you wanna supplement what I've just said?
Yeah, I want to just jump in and also mention that the department also hosts the Portland chapter of the Archaeological Institute of America, which is both a professional organization for classical archaeologists, for Mediterranean archaeologists, and also for general lay people interested in archaeology. And so since we play host to the local chapter of the society, we get at least 2, if not more, lecturers coming each year from all over to give talks, not even just on Mediterranean archaeology, though of course we get that, lots of Egypt and the like, but we also get stuff on archaeology of the Amazon happened recently. So we have an interesting, really kind of vibrant connection, kind of a wider intellectual community kind of facilitated through our department.
I guess the other thing I would add is there's a lot of, I think our students work really well together. Some of this is formal. There are tutors, student tutors who, particularly juniors and seniors, who will tutor the first years and the sophomores. But there's a lot of this informally too, particularly in the lounge, as Ellen mentioned. But also a lot of our students will, work on their language prep together, and we certainly encourage that. I think there's a really nice spirit of community among the students.
Yeah, and we've had Greek and Latin reading groups, right? Okay, yeah. That's pretty often. Yeah. So I'm hoping that if you have any questions, right, Tom and Nigel, that you'll all feel free to contact us. Tom, you want to finish us up?
Yeah, so I just wanted to thank you all for watching this, and I do hope that you'll be coming to read and taking some of our classes at the very least. So thank you all.
I might just add, there's a lot more information on the website, and if you want to get our email addresses, that's where they are.
Yes, and we look forward to seeing you. And again, if you have any questions about any aspect of the department, please don't hesitate to contact any of us and to come for a visit. We look forward to seeing you.